Hi everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today, as part of my series on creative inspiration, I'd like to introduce you to photographer Alex Morley. So let's get started. Alex Morley is an Oregon-based photographer whose specialty is photographing the Oregon coastline. Now, I've been doing some part-time work in Oregon lately, so I've had the opportunity to go to some of these locations. And I have to say, before I go visit, I often will look at Alex's website to see some of his interpretations of these locations. Now, everybody has their own artistic vision, and nobody wants to copy. And in fact, you couldn't copy because each individual makes their own images. But at least for me, it is helpful to get some ideas of what's there and to get some ideas brewing on the way. And I have to say, at these locations, his images have been really very inspiring for me to produce my own photography. And I hope they're inspiring to you as well, whether or not you make it to the Oregon coast. Now, Alex really has two aspects of his work that really draw me in. The first is his use of dramatic lighting along with either implied or inferred or actually happening motion. And the second is sort of the exact opposite. It's his dramatic stop action. So let's take a look at some of his work and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to put a link to Alex Morley's website in the video description section below. In this photo entitled Seal Rock Swirls, his use of dramatic light with motion or impending motion is evident with the purple light of sunset and the motion of the water on the sand at low tide. The very edges of the pools of water actually seem to glow with the reflected pinks of the sky, while the circular swirls of water just keep moving my eyes right back to the center of the frame. Really just a wonderfully composed image. In Seal Rock North Sunset, the light becomes even more dramatic, and the lines of flow from the long exposure leads right into the bright area of the reflected sunset. Bandon Winter Solstice is to me a study in geometric shapes, with the turbulent water cutting a triangle through the image. The clouds make long lines, the rock is really a big circle, and the sea stacks are various geometric shapes, which I probably would know the names of had I not fallen asleep that day in high school geometry. In Overleaf Sunset, the large rock on the left and the line made by the water flowing around the smaller rock next to it lead our eyes right into the setting sun on the horizon, which is filled with that dramatic light he loves. Thor's Well, Cape Perpetua. Here the warm tones of the setting sun land squarely on the curved line of the water flow, leading us right into the beautiful well that in reality can be a bit dangerous at times to photograph. Whale's Head Wave is a beautiful interplay of light, color, and motion, and to me is almost an abstract photograph. You don't actually have to know it's an ocean wave in order to enjoy it. Well, those images featured, at least to me, dramatic light and motion. Now let me show you what I mean by dramatic light and implied or impending motion. Just like there appeared to be linear motion in his long exposure water photos, here we get a sense of movement in the clouds because of their linear array. As opposed to the other images, the water is now still and the implied motion is in the sky. The same is true in this image entitled Bandon Panorama. Our eyes tend to follow the movement of the clouds by scanning along their shape, at least mine do. It's a beautiful image. Dramatic light and impending motion. How did he get all those birds to face and look in the same direction? Is he a bird whisperer? I don't know, but whatever happened, he caught them at just the perfect moment. They couldn't have stood there looking the same way and in the same direction for very long. And the fact that they're all looking and facing the same direction, seemingly at something, is what gives us the feel of impending motion. It's as if they all might fly away at the exact same moment as birds sometimes do. And if you don't think the motion is impending, here's what the actual motion might look like. The backlighting makes the edges of the gull's wings just glow beautifully, and I have no idea how he got it to stare right at the camera. This is actually one of my favorite images of his. Now let me show you a few examples of his dramatic stop action. Here in storm waves by the southern Oregon coast, he catches the waves just as they're about to break along the rocky shore. In sunset at Cape Perpetua, he stops the upward spray of the waves, and though I suspect that the seagull is actually far in the background, the spray of the wave leads our eyes right to it, ensuring that we won't miss it. In Shore Acre Wave, the stop action is almost startling with crispy detail. And it's not until you look to the right and see the overlook with a person standing there that you really get a sense of scale and just how immensely large this wave really was. Finally, in Oregon Coast Rock Splash, Morley once again gets one of his trained seagulls to enter the frame at precisely the right time. Again, there's much more in his website than what I'm able to show you here today, so I hope you'll take the time to visit and see for yourself. I'd like to close by telling you a little story about the kind of bonds that photography can build. Now, I actually know Alex. I met him initially once 17 years ago at a workshop that we were both on. We shot a little bit together, we talked a little together, just spent a little bit of time together, nothing big, but then hadn't seen each other for 17 years. And I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I was going to be doing some part-time work on the Oregon coast. And when I found that out, I knew he lived in Oregon. And so I contacted him by Facebook Messenger and said, hey, I don't know if you remember me. It's been a long time. We were on this workshop together way back when with Nancy Rotenberg. If you do remember me and you'd like to get together, I'm going to be out there if you'd like to get together and shoot. No hesitation. He booked a room at a hotel, and the weekend I got there, we were shooting. Now, I am absolutely sure that had we met at a business meeting, that reunion never would have happened. Photography can really build some very special bonds among people. And I've seen that again and again, and I really believe it. I hope you enjoyed Alex's work and that you're inspired by it like I am. If you'd like to see more content like this, if you enjoyed this video, why not support the channel by hitting that subscribe button below? Any questions, any comments? I'd love to read them in the discussion section below the video as well. I'm Howard. We'll see you next time.